So I want to create a business model that I can tell full-heartedly that I take nothing from Vietnamese people and I give everything back to Vietnamese people. My job is to find the best people. It's to build a company, meaning that the most talented individual should not be me. I need to hire people who are better than me, more talented than me, to work with me, not work for me. When the whole world is betting on AI, I bet on humanity. I'm creating this Fastlance called VM for Vietnamese people and for Vietnamese SMEs. I want local to hire local. And after that, the vibrant market is done, I will make the whole world hire Vietnamese people.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Chapter 0, a series podcast proudly presented to you by Rising Vietnam. And it is an honor today to greet a guest who is the CEO of Fastwork, a freelance platform in Thailand and Indonesia, and now expanding into Vietnam. So welcome to the show, Mr. CK.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me, thank you for tuning in, and most thank you, Ron. Thank you for having me.
Actually, I came across your LinkedIn and one line that really stood out to me that made Thailand better.
Yes.
And that really sparked my curiosity. So let's do a little challenge here. Can you give us an elevator pitch about yourself, your journey, anything in less than 3 minutes?
In less than 3 minutes. I think for my pitch is that I grew up without a home. So when I was in the US, the only place I can call home was Thailand. So I've worked in consulting in New York before, and I realized that I didn't want to be a tool to help rich people richer. So I want to use my talent, my ability, everything that I have to help the 99%, not the 1%. So I decided to come home, which is Thailand, my mom's Thai, to try to help Thailand solve a very urgent issue, which is decentralized Thailand.
Yes.
Right now, outside of Bangkok, it's very poor because people don't move outside of Bangkok. So I want to create a platform, a freelance marketplace, to empower people to go outside of Bangkok, to make money there and to earn money there, and to empower SME outside of Bangkok to get access to talent with one application. And I realized that this problem that I have, it's not just Thailand, but also Vietnam. I think in Vietnam, 100 million people, 10 million in Ho Chi Minh, 10 million in Hanoi, another 80 million. You know, the prosperity is not, it can be outside of just Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi. So how can we do that? I think a freelancing platform will make that change.
You know that people always say that you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you're from.
Yes.
So let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
Like, you joined Fastwork as a part of a team.
Yes.
But then later, we know that you own the whole company.
Wow, you did your homework.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
So that's really a bold move. Like, what, like the reason you made that leap?
I think it was during COVID. So during COVID, it was actually an amazing time for freelancers. A lot of people turned into freelancing during those times. But COVID was also a horrible time for an investor. So Fastwork did have an investor, but the investor that funded Fastwork did not believe in Fastwork during COVID. And everyone actually thought the world was gonna end. I remember in Thailand, I think 2021, we were in lockdown like 9 months out of 12 months. So we couldn't get out of our home. So during that year, I believe that every single person just like, oh, just give me the cash. I don't want to do this anymore. So at that particular point in time, all the money, all the VC money dried up. So I was running this company for my friend as a favor, actually. But over time, when I was with the company for 2 years, I got connected. And I feel, actually speaking, this company can change Thailand. But the thing is that I believe that with the new normal, with freelancing becoming a new normal, when more and more people want second, third, fourth sources of income, I believe that this can solve a very urgent issue, which is allow people to go outside of Bangkok. Because I realized from a withdrawal, I realized that I send out these money to a lot of outside Bangkok people. I realized like, okay, I told the finance team, can you show me the address? And I realized that most of my money I sent to people outside of Bangkok. And I was like, okay, this is great. Because during COVID, people go back to their home. And they realized they can become freelancers there. And I'm like, okay, if I'm sending money outside of Bangkok, that means that that person lives there. So when they live there, that means that the noodle shop there have more customer. That means that the market, the street vendor there has more customer. That means that the real estates there has more renter. Yeah. So if I can disperse people, go outside of Bangkok, I can spread prosperity outside of Bangkok. We always think that Bangkok has traffic problem.
Yeah.
The solution to it is not to build another bridge. The solution to it is how can we incentivize people to go outside of Bangkok, right? If you think about US, the United States, the capital city of the United States is Washington, D.C.
Yes.
But it's not just D.C. that's prosperous, right?
Yeah, right.
Financial district, New York. Best school, Boston.
Yeah.
Disney World, Florida. Hollywood, Silicon Valley, California. Casino, Las Vegas. Yeah. So you see all these states have their own unique selling point. But in Thailand, it's just Bangkok. Why is that? So I want to be that change. So when I realized that Fastwork is actually bigger than just a freelancing platform, I went all in. And I realized that this is the first time ever, the only time ever, I can actually give back to my home. A home that gave me a purpose. You know, I really do love Thailand. Yeah. And I feel, and I realized over time that the problem that Thailand's facing is not just Thailand, it's also Vietnam, and just also Indonesia. Yeah. So why not try it out?
Like people say to me, like, and I know that every hero has the moment, the tipping point that the purpose outweighs the comfort.
Yes.
So I know that you spent many years in the US before returning to Southeast Asia.
Yes.
So what is the defining moment that you decided to move back to Thailand?
Very good question again. Wow.
What is personal calling or market opportunity that you saw?
No.
Deeper?
There was no market opportunities, anything in Thailand. If you realize, like, parents send their kids to the US.
Yes.
They want the kids to chase the American dream. Don't come back. Right? My mom was like, don't come back. Thailand has no opportunity. The turning point for me was I was in consulting, Deloitte Consulting for 4 years. My clients is private equity. And the biggest deal that I did was Blackstone bought Thomson Reuters. Blackstone was my client. And they bought Thomson Reuters financial sector for $20 billion. I did that deal. For that deal, I was at Stamford, Connecticut. And when I was there for a year and a half to see the valuation, you know, Thomson Reuters' employee became my friends. I eat lunch with them, I go out with them. They became my friends to this day. But then when the deal's done, Blackstone fired half the company. They want the company, they didn't want the brand. And this is actually a very common thing that happened with M&A. Like Elon Musk bought Twitter, he fired 80%, right? Disney bought Marvel, fire. Microsoft bought Blizzard, fire. Like firing after M&A is actually very common. But when they fired, those are my friends. So I was like, okay, I worked hard every day. I stay in the office till like 5 a.m. For what? To be a tool for rich people to have the story and they get richer and the middle class suffer? I feel like I didn't want to do that. But I worked hard, right? I worked hard. I studied hard to get this job. I interviewed I dedicated so much of my life to get this New York consulting job. But then I realized that the byproduct of what I'm doing is just making all these private equity people richer. So I'm just like, really? That's what I worked hard for? So I realized that wasn't me. So I dedicate right now, I can tell you 100%, I want to dedicate the rest of my life to serve the 99%. I don't give a fuck about the 1%. I want to do everything for the 99%. I want to help the middle class. I want to help the SME. And I feel like for me, that's more purposeful, right? I got my education from the US. I start ahead of everyone else. I'm lucky. It means that I have more responsibility to help the 99%.
So you have been shaped by the US culture.
Yes.
But now you're leading teams in the Southeast Asian context.
Yeah.
So how do you translate your US experience into the leadership?
I think it's actually a good thing because when I'm in the US, I speak up.
Yeah.
I speak my mind. I don't care how I sit, I don't care what I wear. I'm me. I'm very me. I'm very expressive, and if I see injustice, I say it right there, right? in Thailand, there's like seniority. Oh, if this older people is speaking, don't speak over it. No, if he's speaking a stupid idea, I'm gonna interrupt him. So I think this is important to bring that American ideal, to bring that American culture, to bring that American way of doing things. The courage to innovate, the courage to be the difference, the courage to say that you want to change a country. Right? I think that's important. That's the American ideal. But the most important thing is you gotta have a heart of a Thai person. At the end of the day, you want to do it for Thai Thai people. You want to do it for Vietnamese people. You gotta do it for Indonesian. You gotta do it for Southeast Asian. I think Southeast Asian at the core of it is, we are service mind. We care for each other. It's like American. There's some American culture that I don't like. If I go to a restaurant, you order your plate, I order my plate, I get your fries, you're like, no, don't take my fries, order yours. Woo. But here, we put every food in the middle and we share. Right? So the heart of a Southeast Asian is important. I think it's a strong point. But the courage of an American, the courage to innovate, the courage to be the difference, that's what I bring to the table. And hopefully that I can also lead the team to think this way.
Yeah. So now, I imagine this transitioning back into the Southeast Asian business scene, it will come with a lot of challenges.
Sure.
So what is your biggest challenges while in that transition? And how do you overcome those?
I actually think there's no transitions struggle. I actually think that being a company in American is way more competitive than being in Southeast Asia. In Southeast Asia, most of the people don't dare to questions. Most of the people don't dare to start a business. Most of the people stay at a comfort zone, right? In the US, if you have a good idea, everyone wants to be the next unicorn.
Yes.
So everyone's chasing this dream. But here, very little are in the battlefield. Everyone give up already. Everyone's saying that, the monopoly owns it. Our politics is corrupt. Or they give up. They gave up already. But American, they dare to be different. So I actually think that starting a business in Southeast Asia is a lot easier because there are a lot less players, right? People look I'll give you an example. Even businesses here, including unicorns, they go the shortcut route. They don't do the long route. I'll give you an example. Shopee, Lazada, both of these companies, e-commerce, very successful in Southeast Asia, but they don't do it the Amazon way. They do it the new way. They do it through promotions, right? The double digit 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. They do a lot of promotions. So what actually happened is that a lot of people add to cart and they wait for 11/11 and then they buy. They do not buy right away. They buy only on promotion days. But Amazon never did that. See, Amazon, instead of doing that, Amazon doubled down on infrastructure. They doubled down on fulfillment. So over time, people buy on Amazon not because they want promotion, but you buy from Amazon, if you have Amazon Prime, you get your product in 2 hours. And so Amazon created infrastructure in place where people actually look further down in the value chain. And that's not promotion, that's not money, but it's time. They get the product the fastest possible, right? So very few Southeast Asian companies are willing to look deeper down the value chain. Everyone's trying to get into the price war. Everyone's trying to compete on promotions, on promotion, voucher, whatever it is. Very little dare to look deeper down in the value chain. It's the American way, right? Amazon looks so deep down the value chain where, one, they do fulfillment centers. Two, they ditch FedEx. They do their own delivery. Three, they did there's AWS. Instead of subscribing to the infrastructure, they create a cloud infrastructure for everyone. Create AWS, right? So, and four, they create Amazon search. So they steal search traffic from Google for all product related, so they can sell SEM. So Amazon way of thinking is actually a very American way of thinking. They look very deep down in the value chain, and it's incredible. And I'm trying to, that's the company that I want to learn from the most and bring that to Southeast Asia. So I don't focus so much on the problem. I mean, you start a business here, start a business in the US, there will be problems. But at the end of the day, I think here you get more buffer because you don't have that much competition. So you have more room to try and error.
Yes, I get it. Now, let's get into the building, the
Sure.
doing, the part where you roll up your sleeves and think to yourself like, well, it's gonna be harder than pitch deck made it sound.
Sure.
Okay, so transitioning leadership is not easy. You know that, right? So how, like, what beliefs or mindsets or core belief that help you to like realign your company trajectory with your own vision?
Everyone needs to understand that what is the vision? Is to make Southeast Asia better, to decentralize Southeast Asia. That's the most important thing. That's number one. And two is my job is to find the best people. It's to build a company, meaning that the most talented individual should not be me. I need to hire people who are better than me, more talented than me, to work with me, not work for me. So I think these two things are extremely, extremely important. So our vision changed.
Yes.
So it became a more inspiring vision. I tell people, you're not working for Fastwork. At least my Thai team. You're not working for Fastwork.
Yes.
You're not working for me. You're working for a country. Everything that you do, like let's just say, if a GMV is 1 billion, the 1 billion GMV is not money to my pocket.
Yeah.
The 1 billion GMV is to citizens, to people, to Thai people, our own,
Yeah.
right? So you work hard today, you don't work hard for me, you work hard for your people. So if you don't have a heart that wants to give back to the 99%, if you don't have a heart that wants how to be better, do not join my company. So I lead with the vision. So the most important thing is that the people need to understand the vision and need to be passionate about the vision the way I do. That's extremely, extremely, extremely important. And two is that you gotta have strategies involved, which means that the vision is there, but how do I connect the dot backwards, right? So if you look at the landscape, there are global players, Fiverr, Upwork, right? And you see that, oh wow, Fiverr and Upwork, they're massive company. But on the grand scheme of things, I think I'm trying to be bigger than Fiverr and Upwork, right? I can't just look up to Fiverr and Upwork because I'll just be as good as them. I want to be bigger than them. So I look at my ultimate idol, which is Amazon. So I want to compete with Google.
Yes.
How am I competing with Google? I saw how Amazon did it. Today, if you're searching for a product, you want a mic, you want a cup, you want a table, you want a lamp, you search on Amazon, you don't search on Google. Because the search result on Amazon is just so much better. So when Amazon is able to steal the search traffic from Google, they're able to sell ads, SEM. So I'm like, okay, why can't I do that for services? If I can steal the search traffic from Google for services, let's just say you want an interior designer, logo designer, graphic designer, web developer, whatever it is. If you're looking for a service, you don't search on Google, you search on me. I can sell ads. I can sell pay-per-click. Ads isn't like not push ad, but pull ads, meaning that people can bid on keywords based on ranking. And I think that's very, very interesting. I want to flip the model. I don't want to take any GP from Vietnam. So Fastlance.VM has no GP. Like no GP.
Wow.
So I want to give 100% of the money back to Vietnamese because I want them to use the money to develop their hometown. But I'd rather develop a business model that actually gives back to freelancer. Because let's just say you're a new freelancer and you want more visibility. I want to give you the opportunity to pay for ads, pay per click. Pay per click, not push ad, pay per click ad. So you can bid on the keywords every time they search interior design. Interior design for restaurant. It can be long tail keyword or short tail keyword, and let them bid, and that can be my revenue source. So I want to create a business model that I can tell full-heartedly that I take nothing from Vietnamese people and I give everything back to Vietnamese people.
But that growth isn't always linear. Like, what are hardest decisions after you join Fastwork?
The hardest decision is definitely changing the business model.
Yes.
We used to be GP. So we used to take 70% GP. By me changing the business model, that's cutting my arm, right? To go this route, because it's not proven. No one has ever done it. No one in the world has ever done it. Go full GP for the Amazon for services. No one has ever even tried that before. Imagine a product where you have a search bar, and it doesn't matter what you type, doesn't matter what services you type, you'll find it. I think that's a sexy product. That's an amazing, amazing product. So if you believe that that is an amazing product and that gives you goosebumps, so the key here is to create that amazing product and live or die by that sword. If at the end of the day, I create the best product possible and it's still not good enough for the market, I'll die with that. But the key here is I want to create the best product possible. A product that freelancers doesn't have to lose any GP, a product that relies on just ad and take nothing from the Vietnamese people, a product that actually you can have a search bar to search for any talent you want and you'll find it. I think that gives me goosebumps. When the whole world was betting on AI, I bet on humanity.
So let's talk a little bit about Fastlance. At what point did you think that you would go beyond Thailand? And also, like, how's the growth of Fastwork informed the vision for Fastlance?
So I think the most important thing is Vietnam is an amazing, amazing market. You guys are a hard worker. You know,
Thank you.
In Thailand, we care so much about work-life balance. Here, you guys are hard workers. You know, my team here asks, like, Thailand has holidays again? It's a holiday in Thailand today.
Oh.
They're like, yes, there's so many holidays. You know, in Thai culture, we care a lot about work-life balance. But in Thailand, we have created a product where it's truly an everything store for service. Because right now, when you go to Thailand, if you want someone to do your nails, do your eyelashes, cut your hair, you can do that in Thailand today. So we have every services. You want someone to paint your wall, to lay down the woodwork. You want a plumber, an electrician. We got it. So whatever you type on our AI search bar, you'll find it in Thailand. And I realize that, what if I have that for Vietnam? What if I can connect every Vietnamese SME to our Thai Indonesian market? Because we're the biggest one right now. If you look at our iOS app store right now, we're the number one app. We're the number one app right now. We beat TikTok, we beat Line, we beat Meta, we beat Zoom, you beat all these big companies as a Thai freelancing market. So I realized that we have a great product. And I think that I can also solve a lot of issue in Vietnam. I mean, what if this person runs away with their money? What if a person doesn't do a good job? What if a person do a okay job and you say, hey, can you do draft number 2? And they don't do it. What if that happened? Or what if you do the job, you're not happy, and you're not paying them? Right? There's so many problems with trust on Facebook that I think is an issue here. So would it be better if we have an escrow account? So Fastlance is basically an escrow. Right? You pay through us, we hold on to the money. You have to say that I'm satisfied with the job, you click, then the money goes to him. He doesn't have to scare that the money is going away because I hold the money. You don't have to be scared that he's not going to deliver the work because I hold the money. So I created this trust system between two strangers. So I think that's why it's an important product for Vietnam market because there's no trust.
So speaking of trust, building trust is not a growth hack. It's a long, unsexy work. It takes a lot of time. So what resources do you have in mind? Like including team, capital, anything that you use to build your sustained trust about the platform among Vietnamese?
I think the key here is to create, back to the same point, is I want to create the undeniable product. Of course, I think social media, all that stuff, all these influencer marketing, I think of course we can do that. But the most important thing that the customer care about is actually the product, right? Our product work. We wouldn't come to Vietnam if it doesn't work in Indonesia and Thailand. It works. It's the number one app right now in Thailand. So it means that it can work in Vietnam. It will work in Vietnam. So the trust system is, you don't have to trust this guy and you don't have to trust anything because at the end of the day, we're the escrow.
Yes.
So you can be confidently sure that the money's here and you will get your work for sure. If he doesn't do a good job, if he does a lousy job, you'll get your money back, right?
Yes.
So when you have a system in place, that is just an undeniable product. You cannot even question it. I think the product is what creates the trust. Of course, we're planning on doing community marketing, KOL, whatever it is. Yes. But I think those are all just words. I want to create trust by action. I want to create trust by testimonies. I want to create trust by real customer feedback. I want to create trust by you telling your friends about it. I think that happens with amazing, amazing, amazing product. I'll give an example, right? Like ChatGPT.
Yes.
You're not using ChatGPT because you saw a billboard. and we know we have a great product, right? So the next phase that's coming is to incentivize more freelancers from Vietnam to join the platform, and more buyers to start hiring from here, because they have nothing to lose and everything in the game. Let's say I'm a buyer. Today we have cashback. Not only do we not take GP, we give money back to you. We give money back to you. You spend $1,000 US with us, we give you $5 back. $50 back, 5% GP, right? 5% cash back. So we give you money on top for buyers. That's number one. Sellers, if you get hired through us, not only do you not get any GP, you're not gonna get deduct any GP, but you also have faster ranking. You have portfolio, you have ratings, you have comments. So your next customer want to hire you more often, and your visibility goes up because faster score goes up. So you get hired more frequently. Like, it's everything in the game, nothing to lose.
So is that your how you differentiate your the platform, not only from the local competitors but also from Fastwork itself?
We have job board, so you can post a job and you can get work that way.
Yes.
You can do direct inquiries. You can also, you can call. There's so many things you can do within a platform that we have an app, we have a web, we have basically a full service team. We have milestone. Milestone meaning that you can, let's just say, this job is $1,000. I want to pay 100 based on this work, 300 based on draft number 2. Like, we have all these products structured in place. But we have AI search. We have a search bar that's powered by OpenAI. So you can type anything and you'll find it because our search bar is so smart. So when you have all those combined, I don't really think that we have a competitor that has such a comprehensive solution to a customer. So yeah, I think we have a very differentiating product. Plus we take no GP. Every customer, every competitor takes GP. We don't take GP. And we're creating an ad system that allows you to get more visibility through ads. So it's an undeniable product.
So do you have any positioning strategy that differentiate Fastlance from Fastwork?
I think if the name is different already,
Yes.
I think Fastwork is based in Thailand and Indonesia, Fastlance and Vietnam. The reason why we're not using the word Fastwork is because Fastwork is already used in Vietnam. The law firm tells us that we cannot use the name. It's like, oh no! So we have to come up with a new name called Fastlance. But what's going to happen by next year is that I'm going to connect all these products. Meaning that Fastwork Indonesia and Fastlance is going to connect. Fastwork Thailand and Fastlance is going to connect. So what's going to happen is, if an SME in Vietnam today want to expand to Thailand, one click.
Wow.
One click, someone register for you. One click, someone build a page for you. One click, you can find someone to build a community for you. One click, you'll get an admin for you. One click, someone will translate your entire website for you.
Wow.
You want to expand to Indonesia? Click. Thai SME want to expand to Vietnam? Click. Because I can connect all my product. Because when I own all these regions, I want to make all these regions able to expand to one another easier through us. We want to be the bridge. I want to be the bridge.
So you want to be bridge, not like differentiate each app?
Yes, I want to be a bridge for all our product. So it make it Vietnamese people to be able to think bigger, not just Vietnam.
Yes.
Why not attack Thailand? Why not attack Indonesia? Right?
Yeah. So, but like scaling means rethinking execution. When you rethinking your execution, like what surprising insights that you have when you try to apply Fastwork into Vietnam? Insights about Vietnamese or anything?
I think today, if you're looking for a freelancer, a normal Vietnamese person, what they would do is they would go on their own Facebook and they would post on their own Facebook. I need an interior designer, any recommendation. They'll post and they'll hopefully get referral from their friends.
Yes.
And they do that because there are no options. There are literally no options today, other than just asking for a connection. But the thing is, what if you don't have the connection? That will lead to the quality freelancer. I just don't want that to end there. So that's why Fastlance comes in to solve that issue. But I think there are a lot of interesting insight about Vietnamese in general. Like, Vietnamese have a lot of freelancers. A lot of freelancers are already on Fiverr and Upwork. You guys are already very hardworking. Unlike Thailand, I'll tell you, Thailand, like almost nobody's on Fiverr and Upwork. Right? People are not as hardworking as Vietnamese people. People in Vietnam, they are hardworking. And two, I learned that today too, is that Vietnamese people, they don't look for help, but they try to look for sources that they can be the solution. For example, instead of asking, who can edit this video for me? Vietnamese people will search on Google, how to edit video. So Vietnamese people want to learn how to do it, so I don't need to hire anyone. So Vietnamese people are very driven. And I think that's amazing. That's amazing. So that's something that we need to adapt and understand as well.
Okay. But like, it also comes with the challenge of localizing without dilution. So do you think, what strategies do you have to like localize the platform without losing the platform core identity?
I think the most important thing for us right now in Vietnam is we got to get the quality sellers. So the key first contact that we're going to go is, university students, first jobbers. We want to go for people that have a more open mindset for technologies, that's number one. And two, people that actually want a second, a third, fourth source of income. And we want to go to these people because these are the first movers, first adopters. And over time, we want to grow our seller base from there.
Yes.
I think today, if you go to like a freelancer that already have a lot of clients, that's not the move, right? The move is to help people who are actually in needs, right? And talented people, but just simply haven't started their freelancing journey yet. So I want to help those people first. I think to solve that existing pain point. And also, of course, we have many categories, and we also need to pick the categories that we want to focus at the very beginning. Let's just say that Vietnam is very good with IT, very good with software, web developer, then we want to focus on that, right? If like Thailand, for example, Thailand's very good with graphic, creatives. Maybe Vietnam not so much, so then maybe that's not an area that we want to focus on. We want to focus more on, for example, editing videos, or for example, web developer, more IT related job, or courses, whatever it is. So we want to tailor make our service adaptable for the existing service market in Vietnam.
Okay, so you understand the audience, but not as users, but as people as well.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
We have to understand the market. I think that's extremely important. And I'm trying to learn Vietnam every single day. I think Vietnam, like I'm telling you, very, very different. In Thailand, we're like slow life. In Vietnam, I don't think it's slow life. Because today I was going through an intersection. It was like an intersection like this, right?
Yes.
When an intersection like this, we got zebra lanes like this. If we're trying to go here, we don't go like this. We go like this. So we go straight, right?
Yes.
So in Vietnam, it's not like everyone is. I think it's more in a hurry. They're really trying to get stuff done. So I think we need to build a platform that fits in the lifestyle.
But speaking of people and speaking of how the life, the speed of life is changing right now.
Sure.
So it's 8 p.m. right now, and after a long packed day, you still here doing this podcast.
Of course.
With me. So you are a CEO with a serious influencer energy, and always showing up online, always sharing insights, but also running the whole company.
Yes.
So how do you do that? How you manage your time, and can you share with us your routine?
I don't manage my time. The thing is that if I see an opening, I push my schedule in. I don't know. I just prioritize. I think life's about choices. I might not have, so usually people my age would be dating, would be thinking about getting married, but I don't. Usually people my age would spend a lot of time with their family, with mom and dad. I don't, right? So I pick and choose. I might not be the son that have a lot of time for mom, but I'm a man that has a lot of time for a business.
Yes.
Right? So it's different.
Yeah.
Another person that values family would spend a lot of time with family. Would spend a lot of time with his girlfriend, beautiful relationship, gets to marry, have beautiful kids. That's the choice. But for me, I pick to spend my time with the things that change the country. I want to drive Vietnam forward. I want to drive Thailand forward. So for me, those are the things that are more important for me. And so I spend my time there. So I don't balance my time. I really don't have like leisure. I don't go to Europe. I don't travel. I travel here for work, but outside of work, I wouldn't travel here.
It's about prioritize.
Yes, I prioritize everything.
Okay, so but being a voice of the brand and also being the person who operates the brand.
Sure.
The dual jobs, is it complicated or help you as a CEO?
I think definitely does complicate some things. But the good thing is that when I became the voice of the company and when Thailand, for those who don't know, when I have a massive media reach.
Yes.
So I don't need to pay reach. I have organic reach. So today, if you're a Thai company and you're trying to pay for ads, you're not going to get my free reach. Like today, I make one post.
Yes.
The most recent post I make right now is probably like 500K view right now. I made that 2 hours ago. That would equivalent to $50,000 US ad spend. So the leverage is that I became the marketing. I don't need to spend on marketing because I am the marketing. I don't need to pay Meta. I don't need to pay TikTok because I became the marketing. So, but again, it's not like this overnight. I gotta curate my content to build this brand, to build this trust from my audience in order to get this voice. And it complicates things because I have to think twice about a lot of things I say now.
Yes.
But I still try to be myself as much as I can. So I can use that money to hire good people in order to build a product. So that's a strength, I guess.
Is it an intentional branding strategy or something that naturally developed along the way?
You know what? Like, it's not like, is it intentional? Sure, maybe a little bit, but you know, like you're seeing the content creator space getting bigger and bigger today. Today, businesses trying to become content creator. Today, content creators are trying to build businesses.
Yes.
Because the most important thing is how do we match attention to a business, right? Content creator have millions of followers, have attention, but doesn't have a business. So they started thinking, okay, having views alone doesn't generate any value. But how can they turn these value into a business, right? So I think that's the key here. Today, you see all these businesses, they want to be content creators. They want to be in media, right? So I think having attention is actually a leverage. And attention is the greatest asset today. If I have your attention, that is something that money cannot buy. Because you can spend on ads, but that doesn't mean that people actually listen to what you have to say.
But you have to be consistent.
Yes.
Because you, what you say in public, you need to align with what you do in the company. So how do you stay consistent?
I stay authentic because that is who I am. It's really what I want to do. I want to improve Southeast Asia. It's really what I want to do. With or without camera, I'll tell you the same thing. It's actually something I really want to do. So with my content, everything that I do, I try to develop Southeast Asia. And not just with words, but with action. So naturally, these two align because I know the answer myself. That's who I am as a person. So I'm not lying to the public. I really want to do it. So consistent in this case is discipline. I post 5 contents every day per platform. If every platform combined, I post 35 contents a day. I post 35 contents a day. Every day.
Every day.
I don't care if I'm sick. I don't care if I break my arm. I don't care if I'm in the hospital. I don't care if I'm sad. I don't care what happened. I don't care if I wake up late. I post every day. I don't care how I feel. I do it anyway. That's called discipline. I don't chase motivation. I don't need motivation to do things. I do things even on days I don't want to do it.
So 35 contents, do you have any theme for that content?
Yeah.
Like just 35 content?
No, theme as in like every 35 contents are all different.
Yes.
So the good thing about my content is that it's quite unlimited because I can talk about anything. Right? I can talk about freelancing marketplace. I can talk about business. I can talk about business that's up and coming in the US and how can we adapt that. I can talk about politics. I can talk about what's the trade war between Trump and And China, what's the Trump war going to happen between Trump and China that's going to affect Thailand? Why is Thailand getting 34% tariff? I can talk about the earnings report of Nvidia. I can talk about the earnings report of Tesla. Why is Apple stock down after OpenAI bought I.O.? I can talk about why is US so protective of Taiwan, maybe because of TSMC. They don't want China to own the semiconductor.
Yes.
But I can go on and on and on and on. These are unlimited content.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to educate the entire nation with my content. And I'm doing that today. So I'm trying to educate the entire nation, Thailand, with my content. Because stuff that I'm talking about, the school doesn't teach that.
Yes.
So I'll teach it. So me alone, I'll be the biggest school Thailand has ever seen by being the change myself.
So you experience a lot of culture. And so what rituals do you try or have you tried to embed it in your team in both Thailand and Vietnam?
Ritual as in?
Rituals or mindsets or core beliefs.
Be product obsessed. I think that is the most important thing, is to be product obsessed. Do not focus on marketing. I try to say this over and over again. If you spend marketing to get customer, those are fake customer. The real customer, if your revenue only grows by marketing dollar,
Yes.
that's not sustainable. Because when the marketing dollar dried up, the customer is gone. The most important thing is to spend everything you have on product building. Build the best product possible. In today's world, the best product is the best marketing.
So let's talk something about the world today. Okay, we are living in the golden age of working from anywhere. But let's be real. Like in Southeast Asia, freelancing still carries some stigma.
Sure.
And Vietnam is the first country that has over 50% of workforce that participate in gig economy.
Sure, that's amazing.
And and when we mention freelancing, we think of like freedom, but freedom doesn't always equal security.
Sure.
Right. So people may earn more, but what about health insurance? About retirement plan?
Sure.
About long-term career growth?
Sure.
So how do Fastlance do anything to tackle that, to ensure not just income but safety nets?
It's a very good question, because it's a question I get asked all the time in Thailand. And I'll tell you this one thing, is that most of the people who are freelancers actually don't care about stability. Stability is actually a stigma that was taught, and is actually not needed by people in a way. People want to be freelancer because they want to be the difference. I'll give an example. You work in a full-time job. You get your life insurance, you get your health insurance, you get everything, you get stability, right? But the problem is that you have a ceiling. You can work 50 hours a day. You can work 50 hours this week. You can work 120 hours this week. If your pay is, let's just say 40,000 baht, you still get paid 40,000 baht. You're not going to get paid more. But when you're a freelancer, people remember your name. Like,
yes.
Let's say you're a lawyer in a law firm. You work really hard to serve the client. If you do a good job, you work till 4 a.m., you do a good job, the client say, Baker Tilly is very good. I like that company. But when you're a freelancer, I'll say, Ronnie's very good. I remember your name.
Yes.
So when I remember your name, that means that your per month doesn't have to be 40K. It can be 80K, 200K. When you have more customer, when you have more branding, when you have more portfolio, you can raise your prices. So yes, you're right, 100% right. Today, be a freelancer has no stability, but it also has no ceiling. It's a trade-off. You want a floor, or do you want a ceiling? When you're in a full-time job, you get a floor. You get stability, you get a floor. But you have a ceiling. When you're a freelancer, sure, your floor is unstable. But you can see the sky.
You can touch it.
There's a chance that you can touch the sky.
Yes.
So what you're doing here is, do you want to take that leap of faith to touch the sky, or you want to be in a room confined by a ceiling? It's a choice you have to make. But the good thing today is that you can hybrid. Today, you don't even need to make the choice. You can have a full-time job while doing a freelancing gig to create a brand for yourself. So people remember your name. Not just Baker Tilly is a good law firm, but Ronnie's a good lawyer. right? That is priceless.
But if freelancing becomes so popular, then what about company? There's no company at all, or
no, there will be companies, but companies will have less and less employees. I think it's actually announced by Claude's founder today. Entropic's founder announced today that we will see a massive layoff. Like unemployment rate will go to 20% in the next 1 to 5 years for white collar job because AI is going to replace a lot of it. It's actually going to happen. Like accounting, journal entry, like journalism already happened to journalism. All these newspaper already laying people off because AI can do the writing, right? So you see a new set of jobs. So what's going to happen to these people? These people will be freelancers, but there will still be jobs that we need a human, but we don't need them full time. So what do? We hire them as freelancer. That's actually going to happen in the next 5 years.
Let's take it back to Vietnam a little bit.
Sure.
So about Vietnam has been named as a rising star in Southeast Asia, right? And you spotted its potential pretty early. So what particularly sparked your interest in Vietnam?
I think it's a concentrate of tech talent in Vietnam. You know, today, software is going to be everywhere. Software is going to be so abundant in the future. It's very, very hard to find a country outside of China and India that is very tech heavy in terms of talent. And that's Vietnam. I think that is incredible. Truly, truly, truly incredible. Yes. Right? Outside of India, outside of China, there's not another country really in Southeast Asia that's so heavily, that have such a concentrated talent pool that's tech heavy. And I think when the global demand for tech is going to be exponential in the future,
yes,
I think your opportunity is how can I connect Vietnamese talent to the world? My goal here is to make the world hire Vietnamese through Fastlance. And when that is the market, I want to make sure that I'm the bridge.
So yeah, right. Like for me, Vietnamese people are tech savvy and young and hungry, which is perfect storm for the freelance growth.
Sure.
I think. So let's zoom in a little bit. Like, which industry do you think is in Vietnam is prime for a freelance model?
Definitely anything that's software related. So web developer, app developer, IT related job. I think right now anything about AI, it can be AI can be AI graphic, can be AI prompt engineering. Like all these, I think Vietnam are literally in the very frontier comparison to its peers in Southeast Asia. And I think tech is definitely where we want to focus on for sure. Tech talent. Outside the tech talent, I would think content creating is massive. I think there's a lot of improvement that needs to be done with creative, art direction, video editing. I think these three jobs. I think if you want to compare the advertising space, the creative space from Thailand and Vietnam, I think there's talent still quite ahead in terms of creative and art direction and aesthetic design. So how can I merge that with Vietnamese? I think today, if you're a Vietnamese SME, just because you have a very beautifully edited videos or a beautifully done graphic, I think that will make a lot of difference. Because you see all these graphic posts, all these video posts, it's very corporate. But if there's a Vietnamese content creators or a Vietnamese graphic designer that can make something very, very foreign, very, very intuitive, very, very in trend, I think that makes a massive difference for the company. So I think that is a competitive edge. And I think we will see many, many differences, many, many new creative ideas in art direction in Vietnam advertising market.
Yeah, sure. So, but about Fastlance, it's known as, it stands out as not a gig connector, not as a matchmaking, but is a career partner. So what additional support or career development that you're planning to provide to elevate the Vietnam, the freelance workforce?
I think, education actually comes later on in the process. The most important process right now is to create income. I think educate, if you want to compare Vietnam to Thailand, I think Vietnam is still so far ahead. What Vietnamese need right now today is they need more jobs. They need more sources of income. So that's my number one job, to create a foundation where they actually make other sources of income and that Fastlance can actually make them money, number one. And then once I've figured out this pillar, then the second step that I have to think about is education. How can I make sure that all my graphic designer understand AI? How can I empower every single one to know how to do CGI? How can I empower every single one to be able to be content creator without looking at the camera, because AI can make their eyes look at the camera all the time. So these things actually come second. The first thing is that I need to establish that trust by empowering all of them to be able to make money within our platform. That's number one first. And then the second, education will follow.
Okay, so let me ask you something broader and timely. So we are living in a very unpredictable world these days. And events like pandemic, geopolitical tensions, or market crash, somewhat called the Black Swan events, if you have heard, and keep reshaping our reality.
Sure.
Yeah, and Southeast Asia is a very dynamic and fast-changing region, which has a lot of opportunity but also risk.
Sure.
So how do Fastlance and how do you prepare for and to adapt to those kind of unexpected and really extreme disruptions?
How do I prepare for disruption? And by being a disruptor myself, right? I think the most important thing is I have to be the disruptor. I am going to be the forefront of innovation. While the whole world right now, everyone is betting on AI, I'm betting on humanity. So I'm actually going against the wave, right? I believe that over time, some jobs will be lost, like graphic designer, the job will be gone, but there will be taste designer. So meaning that instead of hiring a person to do the graphic, you're hiring a person based on their taste. And the AI does the graphic. So everyone will compete based on taste, but not the actual hours put in to do the design. Software engineer will be gone. It will be replaced by prompt engineering, meaning that it's engineers, but with taste. So everyone will be competing based on taste. So how do we do that? By portfolio. By empowering a platform where people can compare taste to taste. So see whose freelancer's taste matches ours more. So the best way to avoid the future disruption is to create the future, right? I'm trying to create the future of work. The creative future doesn't come to me. I create that reality. So I'm not too afraid of disruption because it's actually quite clear where the world is going. It's actually, if you look at today's lens, it's very obvious where the world is going. The world is going to go to a spot where everyone will be entrepreneurs. Like I'm talking about every single person will literally be an entrepreneur. 50 years ago, there are not that many entrepreneurs. Today, after Facebook, Amazon, e-commerce, social media, there are tons of entrepreneurs because today you can market yourself through digital marketing without billboards. Today you can place your product on e-commerce, not modern trade. So these platforms empower entrepreneurs. So we only know the trend's going to go further up by AI, by freelancing. So instead of having massive company, you'll see solopreneurs. So the future is going to be a bunch of entrepreneurs. That's where the future is going. So how can we create a platform that serves the world of entrepreneurs? And as there are many entrepreneurs, more businesses will focus on niche problems. You have a shoe for climbing. You have a shoe for basketball. You have a shoe for this. You have a shoe for that. So every company will be on their own niche because they're more entrepreneur. So everyone will be focusing on a smaller pie, but be the boss of their own pie. So that's where the market is going to go.
So that's your take on how those black swan moments that might influence the future of freelancing.
Don't be afraid of black swan. Be the black swan, right? You want to be the black swan. You don't want to wait for the black swan. Be the black swan, right? ChatGPT is the black swan, but they became the black swan. They're not waiting for a black swan. They became the black swan. So for me, I'm not afraid of the black swan because we're trying to create a black swan. We're trying to create a platform to empower every single person to be able to work anywhere. Work can be any occupation, can find jobs with a computer through Fastlance.
Okay, so we have talked cross-border buildings and about future of work, have talked business. So let's bring it home. let's do some personal question.
Sure.
Okay, so you have experienced many culture, and you have went through a really unconventional path, like US educated, Thai rooted, and now building in Vietnam. So what lessons from your journey that you think are the most relevant to the next generation of entrepreneurs in Vietnam?
To ask more questions, have less statements. I think a statement closest to mine, a question opens the mind. If you think in terms of like Vietnam's like this, Vietnam has inequality issues. Vietnam has politics issues.
Yes.
Vietnam is owned by monopolies. If you think of it like that, then you won't be able to make any changes. If you start questioning the system, how can it make Vietnam better? How can it spread inequality throughout Vietnam? How can it spread prosperity outside of Ho Chi Minh? How can I create more transparency in the politics space? How can it make Vietnam better? If you make it a question, then you have a chance to make it happen. So don't think of reality as a passenger. Think of reality as you're the pilot. That you're actually the X factor and they will be the change. The country doesn't change by politicians.
Yes.
The country changed by entrepreneurs. The world changed by entrepreneurs. OpenAI is entrepreneur. Amazon entrepreneur. Google entrepreneur. Facebook entrepreneurs. So people that shape realities are entrepreneurs. So stop using your point finger and start using your thumb. Like, what the fuck can I do? Stop thinking about that. Right? Stop blaming the situation, the country, the politics, the education system, and start thinking about what the hell can I do? That's more important because you're the entrepreneur.
Yes. Yes, right. And after like what we talked, looks like you have made a long-term bet in Vietnam.
Yes.
And so what's your long-term commitment to Vietnam and its startup community?
Forever. I think I'll be here forever. I won't leave. And the key here is to empower SME. And I commit to Vietnam. I'm creating this Fastlance called VM for Vietnamese people and for Vietnamese SMEs. I want local to hire local. And after that, the vibrant market is done, I will make the whole world hire Vietnamese people. I will make the whole world hire Vietnamese people. Let's just say you're a lipstick company from Spain. You want to expand to Vietnam. You're not going to go on Fiverr to hire some Indian to expand to Vietnam.
Yes.
You want to hire a local. I will bridge that language barrier with AI. And I want to empower the whole world to hire Vietnamese people through Fastlance. So that's the key here, to bring prosperity here, to bring opportunities here, to empower a Vietnamese freelancer to get jobs not just from the local market, but global market. And two, to empower SME, every SME in Vietnam, be able to expand it anywhere in Southeast Asia through Fastwork. That's the key here.
I'm really looking forward to
What
that.
happened? What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
So what excites you about Vietnam's talent landscape, talent pool, and Vietnam's tech?
I think very excited. You guys have 100 million people. Thailand only has 66 million. And 100 million people that's tech savvy. Like, it's incredible. I think one is you guys are very tech savvy. One is that you guys are very in tune. Three, you guys have a government that's actually moving toward, I think, in the right direction where you guys are investing in AI. You guys are investing in data center. You guys are actually lowering the size of the government. I think you guys are going the right direction. You guys are, I think, one of the fastest moving Southeast Asian country out there. So I see a lot of progress. And hopefully that I can be one of the forces that can empower more Vietnamese people to find prosperity.
Wow. Okay, so as a Vietnamese Gen Z,
yes,
I think that Vietnam is not only defined as a rising star. I think it's redefined the definition of ambition.
Yes.
Yeah, in Southeast Asia.
Yes.
So, but risk taking is something that people always scared of. Because for me, I used to study in Canada for 2 years before coming back to Vietnam and start a new major, like totally new path. That was even before I entered a beauty contest, Miss Grand. So, risk-taking is really, it hits different when you are still figuring things out.
Yes.
So many Vietnamese people, although they are ambitious, but they still, like they have the spark, but they still looking for a North Star. And if some of them are listening right now to this conversation and looking and figuring whether they are keep going or not, what would you say to them?
To overvalue opportunity and to undervalue risk. That's the most important thing. Everything that you do will have risk involved. But the most important thing is that if you have time on your side, you can afford risk. Person that cannot take risk is a person with no time. If you're 80 years old, 70 years old, you have no time. Sure, you cannot take risks. But if you have time, you're the richest person on earth. I'll give you an example, right? Warren Buffett's 94. He's worth like 250 billion. If I give you a 250 billion right now, US dollar, would you want to be 94 years old? No. Would you want to be 80 years old?
80?
No. See, 70 years old.
No.
See, so we are actually, every single person in this room have the same understanding of life. Every single person understand that time is more valuable than money. Macro view, we all understand the same thing, or else we're taking the money.
Yes.
But how come in the micro view, a lot of people are willing to do the things they hate for money? They value, in the micro view, every single day, a lot of people, they value money over time. That's why a lot of people are not happy, because they're willing to waste time for money, when all of us are not willing to waste time for money in the macro view.
Yes.
Right? So today, if you have time, value opportunities more. Sure, do this, that will happen, this might happen, this might happen, this might happen, this might happen. But what if you're right? What if everything that you do actually turned out to be true? What if you're in the right path? What if this decision will change your life forever? Value that opportunity more. Risk, you can adapt afterward. Because the greatest entrepreneur are not those who don't make mistakes, but are those who don't make mistakes twice. What does that mean? If you make a mistake, that's not your fault.
Yes.
But if you make the same mistake twice, that's your fault. So when you try something happened, it's a mistake. Just tell yourself, I won't make that mistake second time. And you became better. So the key here is overvalue opportunities, because you know yourself that you won't make the same mistake twice. And you have time, that's okay.
Can you look at the camera and say your advice again? Like not the long advice, but what you want to say to the young generation.
Okay, so young gen, really do take a lot of risks. If you have time, take risks. Overvalue opportunity, undervalue risk. This is a time that you can do everything. When you're young, don't look for stability. Look for risk. There's always a stable job. When you're young, you can try many things and you still have time. Don't take risks when it's too late. Don't take risks when you're married to someone. Don't take risks when you have a home, when you have debt, when your parents are sick and your parents are getting old, you have more burden. Don't take risks when you have a kid. Take risks when you have nothing to lose. When you have nothing to lose when you're young, when you're 20-something, you're actually supposed to chase risk, not stability. So don't make that mistake.
This is a really rich conversation, but not just insight, but also intention. And also, thank you so much for being here, being a guest that not only help us to understand what's next, but understand why it matters.
For sure.
So, and I hope you enjoy Vietnam, the food, the charm, the chaos, everything. So this is the end of the podcast today. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you for tuning in.